Hi, I'm Michael Sansolo, and welcome to Shopping with Michael. You know the old expression, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream? Well, these days, as we walk the supermarket frozen section, it's clear we have even more to shout about. There are tasty choices, from super premium versions of traditional flavors to items that are actually better for you. Now, did that get your attention? More about ice cream when we come right back.
Billy works in a supermarket. He helps stock the shelves. One day, Billy figures out that there are 120,000 different items in a big modern supermarket. When he divided the number of items he usually stocks in a day into the total number of items in the store, he realized that it would take him nearly 4 years to get the job done. Of course, Billy is only responsible for the store brands, so his job is easier. There are thousands of store brand foods, beverages, snacks, health and beauty, kitchen and household products. Each store brand with quality comparable to the national brands, but less expensive. Billy smiled. Restocking store brands is a lot easier.
Welcome back. Although it's still America's favorite flavor by far, there's nothing vanilla about what's going on in the ice cream aisles these days. There are $7 billion in ice cream sales in U.S. retail stores alone, and the figure is growing, powered by the introduction of free-from products that are aligned with consumer interest, as well as an increase in gelato and super premium items. The better for you segment is experiencing a boom thanks to unique formulations such as high protein, lower calorie, low sugar varieties, often in single-serve packaging. These frozen treats deliver a rich, decadent experience. The new high-protein desserts are making noise across the country. The calorie count difference is startling. A pint of high-protein, lower-calorie vanilla bean has about 280 calories and 20 grams of protein, while the familiar premium product has 1,080 calories and 16 grams of protein. Store brands are part of the fun as well. Kroger has debuted a line of lower-calorie, high-protein ice creams under its brand, Simple Truth. Target's Archer Farms and Aldi's Sunday Shop offer their own, and there are many, many others. Store brands now account for 20% of all ice cream sales nationwide. Many supermarkets promote their store brands as having quality that's as good as, if not better than, branded products, with the same new and unusual flavors that are trending as consumer favorites. They're expanding their offerings with more organic and natural products as well, jumping on the clean label bandwagon with products that stand out for their absence of artificial ingredients. Here are some fun ice cream facts to think of. The average American eats about 20 quarts a year, the world's highest per capita consumption. That's the US. Top selling flavor? Number one is vanilla with 33% of the market. I don't understand it. I'm a chocolate fan, but chocolate only draws about 19% of the market. It takes 6 pounds of whole milk and 1 pound of cream to make 1 gallon of ice cream. And this won't surprise you, but the most popular topping is chocolate syrup. Don't we all love that? Now, the US, we don't only eat the most ice cream, we produce the most ice cream in the world. And that sounds pretty good. 9 of 10 of us have ice cream in our freezers at any given moment. I'll tell you, I'm on that stat. And the ice cream cone was actually popularized in the United States during the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. There was an ice cream vendor who ran out of plates to serve his products, and he asked a waffle vendor who was at the booth next to him to try to roll up some of those waffles to hold the ice cream. And look at that, the ice cream cone was born. For almost 25 years, food scientist, editor, and consultant Donna Berry has been reporting on product development, marketing, and trends in the beverage, dairy, and ingredient industries. The former product development editor of a dairy trade magazine, Donna is considered the industry authority on innovations in dairy products, such as, you guessed it, ice cream. What a cool title to have. Her popular blog, Berry on Dairy, tracks all kinds of new changes that are going on in the dairy and ice cream and frozen food industry. She has her daily dose of dairy, which is just great to say and I'm sure fun to read. So Donna, thank you for joining us. I know when I go out to buy ice cream, because there are so many different kinds, and we're going to talk about some of these differences. Can you give us just the basics? Sometimes there's ice cream, there's ice milk, there's gelato. What is it that makes one different from another?
You know, it gets really confusing. Ice cream, that word is actually regulated by the government. So there's ice cream, by definition, is 10% milk fat and 100% overrun. And I bet you have no idea what overrun is.
I have no idea what that means.
Overrun is air. And basically, a ice cream manufacturer is able to take a gallon of ice cream liquid before it's frozen and make it into 2 gallons by pumping air into it. And the government actually says you can't go more than 100% because you can't sell air. You know, it's so by definition, ice cream has to have at least 10% milk fat and no more than 100% overrun. And then you get into all those other funky names. You've got the light, the low fat, the reduced fat, the low sugar.
Oh, and we're going to go into all this because...
But all those terms are actually regulated. And so that's where it comes into play at the grocery store, and it gets a little confusing.
Well, let's get into some of the really important stuff. And we might as well let the audience in on this because the critical point on ice cream is what flavor everybody likes most. And just so you know, Donna and I have a bit of a problem here because you are a vanilla person.
I am.
I am a chocolate person. But why are the products used so differently?
Well, you know, you either are a chocolate person or you're not, and I'm not.
Don't understand it.
Go figure. It's a good thing, actually. I'm kind of appreciative that I'm not a chocolate person. With vanilla, you have to remember it is such a clean, pure flavor. You know, it's white. It's this empty canvas just waiting for additional flavors to be added to it. And those are the things that I really love. In the industry, we refer to those as inclusions. So it's that caramelized pecan or that little cheesecake piece or strawberry swirl or cookie dough, you know?
And that can't be added to my chocolate.
Well, it can be added to your chocolate, but the problem is chocolate actually is a masking flavor. It overrides a lot of other flavors. So if you look at the chocolate category, chocolate ice cream category, most of the time what's being added back into it is other forms of chocolate. Brownie pieces, chocolate-covered nuts, a fudge swirl, that kind of thing. So, you know, if you're really into chocolate, you know, there you go. But if you want to try all those other flavors, it's really better in vanilla, and that's where it really comes through and shines.
Well, Donna, there's no point in doing a segment about ice cream if we don't get to sample some ice cream. So let's bring out a couple of different varieties right now so we can look at them, talk about them, and of course, taste them.
Rich people know all about quality. They spend lots of money to get it. But you don't have to be rich to get the quality you want in your everyday shopping. That's because store brands from your favorite supermarket, drug chain, or mass merchandiser give you comparable ingredients, taste, and performance at prices that beat the national brands all the time. Of course, you have to be a smart shopper. Try the store brands. Use them at home, compare products and results. And of course, enjoy the savings. Maybe that's why so many rich people buy store brands too. Store brands, the smart way to get quality.
Well, we've got a bunch of different varieties. It's amazing how many different kinds of ice cream there are today. And before we get into this is a question you have to answer for me. I've noticed these new high-protein, low-calorie, and this staggers me because this entire pint of ice cream is saying if I ate the whole pint, which I'm not going to do, would only be about 330 calories, whereas a serving of a traditional ice cream may on its own be around 300 calories. How is that possible? It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, it is probably too good to be true. So there's many of these products out there, you know, national brands, regional brands, small players, you know, private label is doing it. Everyone seems to be doing it. And the target consumer for this is actually that athletic person, the one who goes to the gym, who's tired of eating, you know, protein bars and protein shakes, and now all of a sudden they have this great new frozen product and unique flavors and different textures, and that's who's being drawn to it. So it's not necessarily, you know, ice cream as an indulgent product, it's another form of protein. And it's, you know, they're using a bunch of innovative ingredients and technologies to, you know, to give you that nutritional profile.
Hey, I'm all good with that. But you know what? We have spoons.
Yay.
And there's only one thing we can do. Now, right here, and I've got to ask you about this because we buy a lot of this in my house, slow churn ice cream. What does it mean that it's slow churn?
So slow churn is a process. All ice cream is churned, okay? And by doing it slower, you're breaking up the fat molecule into smaller little fat molecules. Imagine that. One big one is now 100 little small ones. And what that does is it gives you more surface area of that creamy taste in your mouth. So they're able to lower the fat, but break up that fat so it has that perception of being a full-fat product. So it's a little bit better for you.
Wow, go for, you know, and by the way, you're making food science sound really cool with all this. And now, I have to give in to you here. We've had our vanilla chocolate dispute. All of these flavors, we've got peanut butter swirl, we've got chocolate strawberry here, this is banana cream pie, and they're all on a vanilla base. So as you're saying, vanilla is the better base for these kinds of flavors. Let's open one up, and I gotta tell you, this one has chocolate in it, so we're going here. You know, this is why my job is so good. Here, take a little, enjoy. All right, now we're gonna deal with the really important question everybody wants to know, and I'm gonna wanna know this in about 2 seconds. How do I prevent brain freeze?
Well, don't eat it all too fast. No, I mean, really it comes down to not putting too much in your mouth, not eating it too fast. And if you really get that brain freeze, sometimes, you know, they say the old wives' tale is put your thumb at the top of your mouth and it'll warm it up. Have a glass of, you know, warm water, I guess, to wash it.
How can I, maybe I could just have more ice cream.
There you go.
All right, I've got to ask you this, because we have all these new varieties, and we know they just keep coming. What are we likely to see next? Now, I know we've seen gelato come to the United States, and gelato is Italian ice cream in essence. And I think, as you've told me, it's a little lower in fat, tastes great. But are we going to be looking at new varieties, new flavors coming in? What goes on in the rest of the world that we should expect?
You know, something that is really trending right now are some Asian flavors, and that just has to really do with the growth in the population here and, you know, consumer interest in flavor adventure. One of the things on the novelty side, which we really didn't talk about, though, are these mochi balls, which is, you know, Asian ice cream wrapped in rice dough, and it comes in flavors like, you know, green tea and, you know, just a bunch of different fruits that we don't have here. You know, black sesame is another one that is an Asian flavor that's coming over.
So we're going to see like spices and seasonings in our ice cream now.
Well, and I have actually seen some heat meets sweet ice cream flavors that are trending. And for the adult over 21 crowd, there's even ice creams now that are being made with wine and stout beer. So lots of innovation going on.
All right, so we can't go to sleep in the ice cream aisle. I assume it's a matter of time till we'll see cannabis-infused ice cream. There are so many foods, like we like cold soups with certain vegetables in them, so they clearly work. Cucumber or asparagus can work cold. It could end up in ice cream also, couldn't it?
It could end up. You know, again, you're going for that indulgence, so when you make it maybe a little bit healthier, like a kale ice cream, you're probably going for somebody who's not necessarily wanting to, you know, go crazy on dessert, and they're looking for that excuse to, you know, have something that's a treat, but it gives them permission to indulge by putting kale in there.
Yeah. I may stick with the chocolate bits and the cherry.
I'm going to go for what I like.
Well, Donna, thank you so much. This has been a fun episode to shoot because we got to eat ice cream. It doesn't get better than that. And you actually, you taught us so much about how this category is changing. So thanks, and I know as soon as I wrap up, I'm going to go face down into one of these bits of ice cream. You know, the ice cream we knew as kids has evolved into a vast new assortment of cold treats. Next time you're in the supermarket, take a closer look at the freezer section. While you still may end up buying vanilla, you'll see many other varieties that just might tempt you away from your longtime favorite. Thank you for joining us again on Shopping with Michael.